she's definitely doing the workout. Now, whether or not her results are because of that is a different story entirely. But I don't know. I just have a really big problem with the idea. Like, I would be absolutely devastated to find out that I had been doing all these workouts for so long and wondering why I'm not seeing any results, all to find out that the person that was teaching me these workouts was making it all up. What's up, mamas? Alexandria here, 35-year-old toddler mom, licensed therapist, and self professed gym rat who's lost over 40 pounds naturally and in a healthy way. And so now my goal is to help other mamas and other women to achieve their goals. But like I said, in today's video, we're going to do something a little different. I want to discuss the TikTok, the things that came out on TikTok prior to the short little ban, and some of the things that influencers had said, especially in the fitness space. I'm not going to go into the other influencers because it sounds like there were some other influencers in the makeup space and stuff, but we're not going to talk about those people, just some of the fitness things that I have seen. I do want to apologize in advance for my sick voice. I am better, but this cold has kind of kicked my behind. If you love it here, though, I would love if you would subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you find it useful or fun in any sort of way. But I think the reason this really struck a chord with me, and I was, I don't, like I said, I don't normally make commentary type of videos. I'm not really a commentary channel. I'm really more of an education channel. It's the goal here for me. But I feel like based on the things that I've seen coming out on TikTok, I felt like this was important to address because it just really bothered me. As both a content creator and a content consumer, it kind of just bothered me on both levels, and I am by absolutely no means a fitness influencer. Okay. This is, I'm just a mom who makes like online content, but it really it hit me kind of from both sides as someone who creates content, who creates fitness content, as well as someone who also consumes fitness content and just content generally online. And I feel like, so in case you don't know what's being referenced, essentially what happened is prior to the TikTok ban, a trend went around where they were using one of the overlays basically to make a confession about something they'd been keeping. And
since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather.
How can you?
one of them was, and I don't know any of these TikTokers' names because I don't even follow TikTok, but one of the TikTokers essentially, and maybe more than one, came out and essentially said that she wasn't doing the workouts that she was putting up on the internet. And to some extent, I think, back when YouTube was first like making fitness content, I do think there was a lot more of that like takes to get content. Does that make sense? So like you might do a couple of takes to get the moves right or something when making fitness content. But I feel like the more fitness content I see now is much more people like completing a potential workout. Now, I can, as a content creator myself, I feel like I can understand, especially when you're talking about like short form content, right? Like you may not necessarily do every exercise back to back to back to back to back. Like if you're doing like 30 squats, you're not necessarily going to show everybody all of those 30 squats. You may just do like a couple to demonstrate, but I get the impression that that's not what was happening here, is that they were essentially just selling, these like workouts, but they weren't really doing anything. And I have a really big problem with that. I mean, as someone who consumes fitness content online, again, I'm not trying to assign motives here. I don't know these people, and I am certainly not a perfect human. I am not pretending to be. I am human. I am fallible. I make mistakes. And so because of that, I'm not trying to pass judgment, but I do have a pretty serious problem with people lying and saying they're doing something that they're not doing, if that's the case. Again, this is all allegedly, but if that's what they're saying that they didn't do, they're not doing these workouts, then to me, that's a major problem. I use YouTube and fitness workouts, to get fit. And so if someone were creating content around, making fit, like if Caroline's videos were like all faked or she wasn't really doing the work, I mean, there's no possible way because of the way that she formats her workouts. She's definitely doing the workout. Now, whether or not her results are because of that is a different story entirely. But I don't know, I just have a really big problem with the idea. Like, I would be absolutely devastated to find out that I had been doing all these workouts for so long and wondering why I'm not seeing any results, all to find out that the person that was teaching me these workouts was making it all up, And I think that is, one of the challenges with like following, content creation and following like like fitness influencers online. Because as I've mentioned in recent videos, like there is a genetic component certainly to the way that people can look. And so you can't always guarantee that you're going to get the same results that somebody else gets by doing the same workout, right? Like just because I do Caroline's workouts doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to look like her. But I do think there's like you sort of set that expectation though, right? Like if you look a certain way, you're sort of selling your body type of sorts as like this is what you could achieve from doing these workouts. And so I do think, even if it's not done intentionally, I do think there's a certain level to that. And I'm not one of those people who thinks that like you can't give, fitness advice or anything like that on YouTube because you don't have like a fitness degree or anything like that. Obviously, I don't because all of my weight loss was through my own like learning and research and personal experience. Like I don't have those degrees. I'm a therapist and I have a counseling degree. And so I don't necessarily believe that people can't give good like counseling advice either necessarily, but I do think there's a level of discernment that you sort of have to make as the consumer of like should I trust this person either based on their credentials and things like that. But I feel like the piece I have a really big problem with though is because people who create content online, influencer or otherwise, I feel like there is a minimum standard, like a minimum standard to at least be freaking honest. Like I just don't understand that. Like when you go online and you create content, regardless of what kind of content it is, I feel like it is our responsibility as content creators to make truthful content, at a minimum. Like that to me, that's like the bare minimum standard. And so to hear something like that where like people are pretending to do the workouts or people are faking the workouts, am I surprised? Not really, to be honest with you. I think that's the nature of the game, I think, for some. And again, that really bothers me because as somebody who, I work really hard to create the content that I create. And yes, this is like a hobby for me. I'm not certainly an influencer, but if these people are out there setting the standard, it makes things hard for people like me who are being honest and who are really trying to like show you and help you because then you have to like nitpick everybody with a fine tooth comb, right? And so to me, I feel like this just sort of speaks volumes about like, what kind of content creators can you trust and follow, right? At the end of the day. But I think the reality of it is when you add money into the mix, which, influencing is now a job. And so because of that, I think there's going to be good seeds and bad seeds, and then I also saw that I don't know how many, but apparently at least one influencer came out and admitted that they have a BBL, and I do think if you know what a BBL looks like versus natural glutes, you can kind of usually tell the difference. And I find that this is one of those things that also, again, I have a problem with this, and I can understand, as a content creator wanting to like be the part. Right. I get that. I really do. You create fitness content. And so to a certain extent, you like need to sell the product, right? And in this case, it is like looking fit, looking lean, looking toned, looking, muscular, whatever. I can understand that. But, if you had a BBL, fine. But say you had it, don't be like, oh, well, I grew my glutes with these workouts and you can too, because that's a lie. That's not true. You got a BBL. And, to each their own. If you want a BBL, you do you. I don't care. But what I do care is pretending that you don't have a BBL and saying you did glute workouts when you actually have a BBL. That's the part I have a problem with. Because at the end of the day, like you do what you want to your body. You put in your body what you want to put in your body, nip, tuck, whatever. Fine. But don't say you didn't when you did. You know what I mean? And I have a really big problem with that. And so I feel like I don't know, I kind of wanted to sit here and chat about it and ramble. And, I want to assure you also because I feel like you guys deserve to know. And I want to make sure you know and understand that that is not me. I am not going to do that to you. If I tell you I am doing a workout series, I absolutely am doing that workout series. And, you're kind of having to take me at my word just like everyone else. But like, I genuinely want you to know and understand, like, I am a terrible liar. Like quite frankly. But B, I just want you to know that that's not the kind of person that I am. And I genuinely make this content because I want to help you. And I'll never make you promises to things that are not true. And I guarantee you that, like, I am going to do my very best due diligence every time, anytime there's a product, sponsorship, anything like that. I promise you that I'm going to do my due diligence to make sure that I'm giving you the best information possible, whether it's reviewing workouts, whether it's reviewing products, gym wear, etc. Because I don't want you to be misled or, use your hard-earned money on something that just isn't, isn't true or isn't valuable. Again, I am not perfect by any means. This is not me like trying to be holier than thou or like saying I'm better than anybody else. I don't think that. I am flawed just as well. But I also do think that if you're going to get into this business, this career, whatever you want to call it, so if you're going to make content online, you do have a responsibility to your followers to at least be honest, one way or the other. Like if you don't want to say bad things about a company, then just don't review it, like just get the free stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I do think at a bare minimum, the standard should be honesty, at a freaking bare minimum. And so all this, this is really just me sitting down and babbling, but I do think it makes me sad to know that to sort of confirm that there are people out here getting BBLs or like doing things and saying that they're not, they're not what they say they are, but I'm not terribly surprised. I'm really not. I wish I were surprised by this. And so, again, I just encourage use discernment, if you're really not sure about something. But I also, as I mentioned in a previous video, want to remind you that just because you do the workouts that somebody recommends to you doesn't necessarily mean your body's going to look like that. So just keep that in mind as you're picking and choosing workouts. And that's why it's important to know like what is actually helping to learn, like helping to grow your muscles, or what's helping you to lose weight and not get lost in the like hype or the clickbaitiness of it all. Because I understand and I know and I can see it firsthand, like the clickbaity titles, that's what gets the clicks, because we as a society, we as humans are biologically programmed to want that instant gratification. And so the things that say like lose fat in a week or drop 20 pounds in a week, so forth and so on, like things like that, for the most part, are not true and not accurate. But they're what get the clicks. And so, when you work really hard on your content, you want people to watch it, like I'm currently finishing up a video now that hopefully will go live before this, but like I have spent probably 20 hours on this piece of content and I want it to be useful and helpful. And so I'd really like people to watch it. And so, it's this hard like balance of like, making sure that you're not misleading people though, because you need to follow through with what you're telling people. And so anyway, all that to say, I thank you for being here. I thank you for watching me ramble. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you follow TikTok? Do you watch TikTok fitness content? What do you think about all of this? I really would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. And until next time, bye friends.